National Puerto Rican Bar Association, established to meet the question on a national basis: what is Puerto Rico? A nation, a state, or something in between? Join the conversation every week right here. Welcome everybody to our podcast Equal Justice. I am Anthony Suarez. I am chairman of the National Puerto Rican Bar Association Conference, and with me is Steve Alcino, my friend who is with me on each broadcast of Equal Justice, Divine Justice, and Raw Talk. Well, three podcasts dedicated to different areas and portions of the conversation that we have, crossroads between the law, politics, and crossroads between the law and faith and religious belief in the First Amendment, religious freedom. All of that, which we discuss, of course, on Raw Talk, is just pure politics. So we have fun doing those things. We hope our objective here is always to teach and to learn. There is no wrong. We just look at the conversation, and then if you are wrong on the fact, we'll bring you the wrong on the fact, because there are only facts there, and there cannot be wrong facts or right facts. You can have conclusions based on facts, but and your conclusions may be a flaw in logic or maybe correct logic. And if we're wrong on after examining the facts, and we find that we're wrong on the facts, and we'll kindly can adjust our logic. But if your facts are wrong, then we have to work on that. And once you have to work on the facts, we can work on your opinions as to the logic of going to it. So I hope you understood all that legal mess. And as we try to go along, because what we're trying to do is encourage people to think. And so when you're thinking, that's good. Your thinking can be wrong. Your logic can be wrong. The greatest of thinkers have been wrong, all right? But
that's the only way you learn.
It's the only way you learn. So our job here is to think. We're not trying to embarrass anybody. We're not trying to make anybody feel lesser. Just that we would like to have the conversation, and because we have the conversation, I think that we make America better, and our community better, and those people will listen to us. So welcome to this Equal Justice. And Steve, I wanted to introduce this week what is happening. Okay, in our immediately in front of us, and it is breaking news. Moot court is coming to Orlando, and what moot court is part of three events actually that we're having in the conference of September 18th. Let me run that banner so that people can see it while we're talking. Moot court is one of three events for the Puerto Rican Bar Association Conference. The one is Political Salsa. Political Salsa is a platform, I call it a platform, where politicians who want to reach out to the Latino community can come and meet and reach out and talk about their candidacy. It's also an opportunity for the community who wants to meet the candidates to come to them, all right, and see them. So that is what Political Salsa is, and that will be on Friday, the 18th. But on Friday and Saturday, we will also have moot court. And the moot court competition is different. That is a competition among law schools. So you see the picture there of the young lady, and you see the team, a particular team from a school. They will argue, they litigate cases as if they were lawyers, right? Because they're preparing to be lawyers. And they argue in front of judges. So they get a chance to practice their skills. But it's not just the general practice of skills. The question that you're litigating is about Puerto Rico. And therefore, it's a very unique moot court competition because it's a civil rights issue, very particular. And every year we change the story of that you're litigating. So it's always a fact pattern, and then you have to go around studying the fact pattern, and then you're arguing for the judges about Puerto Rico. So one day we have Political Salsa. The next day we're going to have a moot court. And then in between, the third thing is the conference. For people who are lawyers who like to come, we have classes that we'll be offering, okay? So we'll have classes like this one. This is an accredited course taught by a Puerto Rican CPA about forensic accounting. And this course is for teaching you how to better a case. Because lots of times, Steve, you're doing a divorce case or you're doing a business partners, they're breaking up, right? And then the question is, what's the value of the estate? What's the value of the business? Well, people cheat.
Unfortunately.
So when you need, if you're going to be a better lawyer, you hire forensic accounting to determine what is fraud. And maybe you find out that your partner was hiding things. He was paying his gas bill. He was paying his car bill. He was paying his house bill, mortgage through the business. And so you need to do a forensic accounting. So that's one of the classes that we'll be offering. Then
that is cool.
Second class that we'll be offering is how to avoid professional malpractice. Today, with AI, artificial intelligence, you and I have spoken about how dangerous it seems to be for the future. Yet we all seem to want to use AI. And in fact, this flyer that I created here, I could not have created it without the assistance of artificial intelligence. But the problem is that artificial intelligence can be out of control. And lawyers are particularly having a problem because some of them are using artificial intelligence without checking that the cases are true. There have been lawyers who have used artificial intelligence to write briefs, and the artificial intelligence use cases that don't even exist and logic that doesn't exist, and the lawyers get in trouble. That creates
dangerous.
On the other side, if you don't use artificial intelligence, and it's available and it could have helped you, not using artificial intelligence opens the door for malpractice. So that's one of the courses that we're offering. And then the third course that we'll be offering is one that I teach because of my expertise in election law, the federal election law. And recently we had a case called Louisiana versus Calais, came out of the United States Supreme Court a month ago. And I will be teaching about that course and what effect that course has on the voting rights in 1965, voting rights and the ability for people to vote. And of course, with the president pushing the question of the voting right, he's what he called a free America, something of act. He's trying to basically
Voting Act.
Say again.
Free America Voting Act, where he's trying to diminish the vote of certain.
As a response to this Louisiana versus Calais case, and what does it mean? So I will be teaching that course, and all these courses are Florida Bar accredited for lawyers. Now, so lawyers have to pay for the course, but if anybody else is free. And so if you can come in and you can follow, so Steve, you can sit there and take a whole free 3 courses for free just to make yourself a better person, okay? So that's important. And then I'd like to add the last thing, talk about artificial intelligence. And I drafted this banner, which will be hanging and taking pictures on. You can take pictures behind it, which I created with artificial intelligence. So I got the moot court, I got this, and I got all this stuff that can handle with moot court. So I'm looking forward that, if you want to know more, about the conference and you want to see pictures and other actual debates, I have on my website that you see now scrolling below us, I have actually videos of previous debates. And I said debate. That's not the right word because it's not a debate. It's litigation. It's not like people argue. Like you argue a point, the other one argues his point, right, before judges. So you can actually watch some of them from the past competitions on our website, and I think you'll enjoy that process as well. So Steve, this is all coming up soon. And I thought that we might have an opportunity to discuss these things now that I bring it to the attention of everybody who's listening to us. I want to be able to get your feedback, what you think. I know you obviously you're my friend and you're going to say good things,
Not
but
necessarily. No,
all right, okay, all right, good,
no,
cool.
no, 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 no.
Uh,
I think that it's a great opportunity. I think it's pretty cool. The fact that we are going to have the salsa, the fact that we're going to have the moot court specifically debating the statutes and the issues of Puerto Rico back and forth. That's going to be very interesting because you know that the issue has been an issue for a long time. It's a big issue. You know what I mean? So
okay.
hopefully we'll get one of these new talented students of law to come up with solutions to be able to fix this once and for all. Uh, Hopefully, that's hopeful thinking. Now, I think that it's a great learning opportunity for those like me who are not attorneys but are attorneys want to be, to be able to understand further how is that judges think, how they come to conclusions based on evidence presented, and of course, based on the law.
Right.
But we know and we have learned throughout the courses of all these shows that it's about interpretation of the Constitution, applying the law. How was that? Was that
There
good?
you go.
And being able to come to that final judgment where we decide. I mean, I think it's great. I really am going to enjoy it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be recording. I'm going to be bothering people, asking questions. I am going to, what do you call it? Be very active with everybody in there. So the minute they step off, I'm going to step up and interview them and ask them questions. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. At the same time, I'm going to be able to learn about these three courses that you have. And I'm going to go ahead and do the one first here, and then this is what I just spoke about. Then I'm
Right.
going to learn about this, which is very interesting. We have Mr. Gustavo Torres in the show, and like you said, he's a forensic science CPA, and I found that to be awesome because we need more like him. There's not too many around, especially now. We're not going to get into that detail. We're just going to move forward. And then this one with Edita. Okay. This I was not, aware of that you were doing, but
Right.
I'm excited about it because it is, like you said, they're all Florida Florida Bar accredited
Right.
courses. So this is going to be awesome because these are credits that they can pay for these classes, and
Right.
I'm going to be sitting there taking it for free and recording.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what's interesting is you can invite, and of course the purpose of this podcast is
Yeah,
to everybody who's listening can come to those courses. If you're not a lawyer, you take the courses for free.
I love it. I love it. I love it because it is interesting. I've always liked the law.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Right.
I was going to college, my first 2 years of college. Excuse me. I worked with a lawyer.
Right.
you know, I used to do embargoes for him. I don't know if that still existed. I used to be what is called uh, ¿cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? Depositario del tribunal.
Right.
Uh, how do you say that in English? Yeah,
Depositando el criminal.
no, chico, depositario de tribunal.
Okay, the purpose of the courts. The purpose of the courts.
Okay, that's what I did for that lawyer.
Okay.
Basically, what I would do is I would go, and you know this. I'm saying this for the people that are listening. But basically, I worked for Tony Suarez. Okay, and Tony Suarez had a client that couldn't pay. Right,
Right.
for example. Right. So then, or the case requires an order of embargo. So I get that order. I go to the court, to the judge, and I ask for a marshal. The judge see the paperwork, signs, and assigns me a marshal. Now I go to the designated area where I'm going to execute this order with this marshal. So it's always intrigued me. It's always it's always called me. But when I started looking into it, then I find out how much it was going to cost me.
Right.
Not having the resources, not having what I needed to be able to go in there, and just thinking that after I graduated, you know, if I passed the bar, then I start practicing, and now I got to start getting, money together so I can pay for that loan that allow me to go to college and become a lawyer.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, other things happened, and that dream never came through. But the desire still lives in me with fire. So it's very interesting to me. And now that I'm even learning more, okay, it's even more interesting because I am able to understand and see why these judges, especially Supreme Court judges, come
Right.
with these uh, final decisions, or they will rebuke taking the case, or just drop it, or take the case and then the arguments, okay, as they are listening to the arguments of this case, whatever that case might be, and how they interpret the law as to what is written in the Constitution. And I find that amazingly interesting. I think it's great. It's a learning tool for me to know that, wow, law is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful career, and it helps us in every day.
Yeah,
We
and I think that what you're expressing is what I always found fascinating about the law. And the thing is that what we can do is help as people understand it. We've said this many times, right, Steve? That what you want to do is people, in order for have a democracy, people have to respect the system.
Yeah.
And so, if you have people criticize, all the judges are crooked, all the politicians are crooked, everybody's crooked, nothing means anything, then we no longer respect the system. And if you don't respect the system, you don't vote, you don't respect the democracy, and then we're gonna have the democracy falls, and that's always the beginning of the end.
and let me step out of the box here for a minute, okay? And I know that equal justice. Let's just go with the title,
Right,
okay? Let me change this real quick to make it to clear my head, okay? Everything that is going on now with all this um, thing that is going in our government,
uh,
what our president is doing, and what the courts are doing after he has taken action,
right,
okay? Uh, and how the courts are coming back and saying, no, hey, you know what? You started this, but you cannot finish because this is not constitutional. You don't have the right to do it, but here you are doing it.
right,
Okay.
yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
I mean, who in his right mind will take the
right,
east wing of the White House
right,
and put it down into crumbles?
right,
I mean, I know there has been restorations to the White House throughout the years several times, but with congressional support.
right.
Okay. So, it's like, what the heck? Where does the law and the Constitution and the interpretation of the law comes into in this scenario? We don't have to discuss it now. We can talk about it on Tuesday with Raw Talk if you
Right,
want.
right.
But it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that we have and we experiencing what we're doing right now.
Right.
So I think that these shows are crucial to what's going on today.
And you know what we're going to do, of course, Steve. It is my hope, and we had discussed this even before we started this project, that after the convention, after the conference, right, that is the big show, and it's a big content production that we're going to be doing. But after that, we can continue this project by doing something which I had proposed a long time ago, the People's Law School, you know. And so perhaps what we can do is get all my connections that I have, my lawyers of different specialties, right? Criminal law, real estate law, family law, including the judges. And then we get them and interview them on different topics of the law. And then we post them on our site, and you put them together sort of like a course, right? Criminal law, family law. So people can go to People's Law School and learn something. What do you think
That's
about that?
great. People's Law School. I like that. I'll be the first one. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can we do a moot court about what's happening today in our federal government and into our main, guy who's running this country? And what would the students do according to the law and the Constitution based on what's happening today?
Yeah,
That
for
would be a
example,
great moot court.
one of the moot court issues you can say is, can the president, decided to put his picture on the monument, the Washington Monument, for example, right? And he did it by executive order. Now, the civil union or some resident of Washington D.C. decides to put a claim or a case, and trying to stop the president from putting his picture on the Washington Monument.
Okay.
What would you do? All right. And so now you have to go into who has the authority, not have the authority. Does there a statute that covering this? And then you can have a debate as to the power of the executive power, right, versus the power of the legislature. If there's a legislation that stops the president or requires, doesn't necessarily stop the president, but it required legislative approval. So now you have an executive order that says something, and you have a statute that says different. You have to go to the Architecture Review Board. You have to. So that's how you would phrase a moot court. You would have to create a problem. You have to create a problem. That the problem is that in this particular case I just gave you, that the president decided to put his image on the Washington Monument. And someone else says you cannot do that. There's the problem, right? So now the question: can they? How? Who has the power to do that? Is one power stronger than the other power?
Let me ask you a question. Can we kick it up a notch? Can we kind of like, instead of doing the photo and the monument and he putting his face in there, can we just get to the nitty gritty? Let's just get to what the court said no, and what he wants to do, and what he signed up, and make it spicy.
Okay. By the way, of course, we're getting away from the Puerto
I'm
Rican
sorry.
area.
I'm
Okay. And so I don't want this section to be raw talk. That's more appropriate for raw talk than it is for now. But I'll just put it to you in the form of, because you asked the question, can you do this in the form of moot court? And so that you would have to, a moot court is always about facts. There's always a fact pattern, and then you have to compare the fact pattern to a statute, and then the statute, compare the statute to the Constitution, right? So facts, statutes, Constitution. Then you have to argue that. So in this particular case, you would say something like, for example, Trump has decided that he would do the tariffs. Supreme Court has already said you cannot do tariffs, right? So now he found another section that he says, I have another statute. I can impose the tariffs under that section. So he imposes the tariffs. Now, somebody would have to bring a lawsuit saying, Supreme Court already said you have a tariff, that you cannot use tariffs, so you cannot impose tariffs on me now. And he's going to say, oh, the Supreme Court spoke about those tariffs, not these tariffs. These are different tariffs under a different section, and therefore I'm allowed to do it.
See, that's what gets me. That's what gets me. Because, it's the loophole on the law. And he has very good blood-sucking lawyers that know how to manifest that.
That's for raw talk. All right, keep that
Okay.
talk for raw talk. We don't want to say the
Puerto Rican Bar Association.
Puerto Rican Bar Association disavows whatever Steve Alcina said. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Can we erase that from the record?
No. That was your word, not mine. Okay. Well,
I'll
Steve,
take responsibility.
We had a good explanation. Once again, I want to explain what's coming up. Right, all equal justice is part of this. The Puerto Rican Bar Association. You can find more information on our website. Full pictures of the past, what's happened in the past. You can register there. You can register that we have. You can come in to watch, and you can come for the awards dinner. Because at the end of all this, thank you. At the end of all this, you can come and watch who wins. Right? There's a winner. There's an award ceremony. Who's going to be the best brief? Who's the best oral argument? And which is the best team? There's 3 awards that we'll be giving out to the students. And you'll meet judges there. You'll meet other legislators. You will meet lawyers from our community. So you're free to come, and that ticket's $100. You'll see it's on the page. You can buy the ticket right there on the website for the dinner. Or you can just register to come. If you're a lawyer, you can register to be a member, and you get access to all the courses as part of your registration fee. So the classes that we'll be offering, right? We have 3 classes. One that has to do with forensic accounting for divorce cases and business cases. One has to do with legal malpractice. It has to deal with whether or not using AI, artificial intelligence, can lose your license, or you can, one way or another, if you use it or don't use it, depending on how you use it, you can put yourself in a very dangerous position. The third course is the one that's going to be taught by me that has to do with voting rights, the federal voting rights, the 1965 Civil Rights Act, and as a result of the recent decision in the United States Supreme Court, what this means for our society. So those are the courses. We have the networking, of course, a networking opportunity for lawyers to take classes. We have the moot court competition, and we have political salsa. I forgot to put political salsa there. You'll see that little banner up there. Political salsa is another platform that is also free for the community. So if you're a candidate, you pay, but candidates pay to have their table, and you, the community, are free to go there and meet them, shake their hand, ask them questions. What do they think about the issues that are important to you? So that is three events in one. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. We're less than 2 months away now, Steve, and so I'm
Let me ask you a question, Tony. Where is this going to take place again?
Oh, thank you for that question. It's going to be taking place at Florida A&M College of Law. Florida A&M College of Law, and that is in downtown. Downtown, right next on I-4, right next to the federal courthouse. I think it was the address 2 FAMU Lane in Orlando, Florida. So write that down. Florida A&M College of Law, Orlando, Florida, and the parking is free. All right, so and that's good too.
And repeat the college. Florida
A&M College of Law, right?
Okay. Awesome, man. I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much, Steve, for being with me today. Once again, discussing what we're doing. Hopefully, like I said, this is just the beginning of what we hope to be doing in the coming year. I like the idea of doing the the People's Law School, because I've had that idea for a long, long time. I actually have a logo and everything. Next time
I think we should do it.
okay.
I think we should do it. Heck yeah.
So,
Heck yeah.
I think we can pursue it. And I look forward to inviting everybody to come join us and put this on your calendar. Thank you very much.
God bless. Thank you very
God bless.
much. We'll see you soon. Till next week.